Hi, my name is JR Forasteros. I'm a pastor down in Dallas, Texas, and I've written a book called The Villain in the Mirror because, well, to be honest, I love villains. I think they're fascinating. I think any story is only as good as its best villains, which, by the way, is why Batman's one of the best superheroes, right? I mean, he has the best rogues gallery. One of the reasons that I love villains, and as I've watched a lot of stories, read a lot of books, watched a lot of movies and TV shows, I found that the very best villains are the ones that we understand and empathize with. The better we understand a villain, the better we can relate to them, the more we're engaged with the story, and the more we actually want to see not just the hero, but the villain redeemed. And I think that's important because too often in our world, we've reduced everyone into these clean and neat categories of good guy or bad guy, when the truth is we're all the villain sometimes. We don't like to admit that. We don't ever like to see that on display. But when we ignore our own villainy, we really put ourselves at risk of continuing down a path that's leading nowhere but to death and to destruction. In my book, I take famous villains in the Bible, people like Cain and Pharaoh and Herod and Judas, and I'm trying to develop some empathy. And I ask, how did they get to the point where they made the decisions that they made? Why did Pharaoh harden his heart again and again and again when his people were being visited by plagues? How could Herod have ordered the murder of innocent babies in Bethlehem? And why would Judas betray Jesus, the Son of God himself? I mean, I don't think Cain was born a murderer. I don't think Pharaoh was born a tyrant. I don't think Herod was born a monster who would order the killing of babies when he was a baby. All of these people made choices, made decisions that led them down a path to where they got to a point where that decision was their only choice. And if we can understand their journey to those sinful decisions, then we can understand how we might be walking the same path even though we don't know it. We can actually find hope in the villain stories. Empathy for these devils can actually help us find the path to freedom. Again, the book is called The Villain in the Mirror. It's available from my agent, David Van Diest, and I hope you'll give it some consideration. Thank you very much.